Hi guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Ipswich match review. Now, Sunderland have just beaten Ipswich by 2-1, which is an absolutely massive result, and a result that I'm absolutely buzzing with. Absolutely buzzing. But the game itself was atrocious, to say the least. It was absolutely terrible. I don't know how I'm going to make this video over 3 or 4 minutes, to be honest with you. But as you know, I like to ramble. So, Sunderland, of course, did take on Ipswich at the Stadium Light this evening, so we'll get straight into the lineups. We had Burge in goal, we had Wright, we had Flanagan, and we also had McLaughlin as the back three. We had O'Neill as right wing back, we had Hume on the left. In the middle we had Scowen and Ledbetter, with Maguire and Gooch a bit further forward, and of course Charlie White up top as well. So getting into the game, and I was actually quite worried. Weren't really particularly confident going into the game. Ipswich are a very good side, a side in which I 100% expect to be up there or thereabouts come the end of the season, which of course added to the spectacle of the game, even though it was behind closed doors, of course. But I think for the first half an hour, we actually played very, very well. Don't get me wrong, we weren't making chance after chance after chance, neither were Ipswich, but we had everything under control. Our high press and our pressing game was brilliant. We weren't giving them a sniff. Every time they got on the ball, we were right in their face. We were forcing them to play hoof-it football half the time. It was going towards Jackson there, their striker, who was completely isolated at the time, particularly for the first half an hour, like I say, because then he'd immediately have Bailey right behind him or McLaughlin getting in front of him. So we were really just limiting them to anything in terms of attacking prowess anyway. But we started to make chances of our own. We were constantly getting at them. There was so much pace to our game, so much tempo. Again, I'm not going to say that we were peppering their goal with shots, because we weren't, but we're getting there and thereabouts. We had times where O'Neill on one side was driving forward, maybe should have released the ball a bit sooner or shot himself, where he'd take on 2-3 men and going for it. Same with Hume on the other side, but we're pinging balls in, a few nearly moments, a few nearly chances, but it was mainly us that looked like we're going to score, essentially, and eventually we did. So the ball had, the Gooch had the ball on the left-hand side, and he fizzed it into Charlie White at pace, and Charlie White produces a really, really good touch, which is something I'd never really associate with Charlie White, and hopefully I do associate with him in the future. But he takes a really good touch, he shrugs off his man, he's holding off his man who's right on his back, the big lad, the centre back for Ipswich, and he manages to gain control of the ball and drive it past the keeper into the bottom left hand corner. So we're 1-0 up, we're sailing. But as soon as we did score that goal, I felt like the high press dropped a little bit, not massively, but it did a little bit. But once the half an hour mark sort of hit, you could see that we looked a lot more tired because of this high press, and we're just kind of asking for it. We sat back, everyone moved back a good 5 to 10 yards, and we were just asking for them to come forward. And then with Ipswich's sort of first shot of the game, pretty much their first chance of the game, because they really weren't even putting crosses into the box or anything like that. We're just nicking it off them every time they even attempted to break forward. Not to say again that we were breaking forward and making loads of chances, because we weren't, but we just looked like the better side in general. But they had the ball down the left hand side. It's been played into the centre of the box. The Ipswich man, he's got no Sunderland players near him, but he's got it on the left hand side inside the box, and he's hit it towards goal, towards the right hand side of goal, bottom right hand corner. Burge definitely should have got a better hand on this. His hand may well not have been there. And it's gone off the far post and in. It was a decent finish, but Burge's positioning was terrible. He's left the goal gaping on one side, just asking for him to put it there, and and to his, give him credit, the Ipswich lad, he's put it in the right hand side of the goal to make it 1-1. So as soon as they got that equaliser, it gave them the momentum. The adrenaline was going, you could see, because that's when Ipswich really started to show their colours and they started to bomb forward. They were peppering our box with crosses, which luckily we did deal with, but we managed to hold on to half time. At half time, we did make a change that I'm not in favour of. I think Scowen did come off with an injury. I know I saw a few people on social media that were actually slating Scowen a little bit for his performance. He was giving away a few free kicks here and there, but a lot of them they were whilst covering for other defenders. For example, McLaughlin was getting caught out a few times with the goal originally. Defensively, we were terrible, and every Ipswich opportunity was created by us, essentially. It was our own downfall, and Scowen was kind of trying to rectify a lot of other players' mistakes, and he was absolutely everywhere, the lad. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't giving us a 10 out of 10 performance, but we need that energy in midfield, we need that drive in midfield, and as soon as you remove him from that midfield, there's no energy in there, because Ledbetter's not someone who's going to run up and down the pitch consistently, because he's not that kind of player anymore, and he just sits in front of the back line. So as soon as I saw that Power was coming on for the second half, I just thought, you may as well give up now in terms of midfield anyway, because the midfield becomes almost non-existent when he's on the pitch. And to be fair, he didn't put a massive amount wrong, Power, in the second half. He didn't do too much wrong, but he didn't necessarily do too much right. Again, in all honesty, it was mainly just sort of hold on to the ball, give it back to the defenders, and that was it. But the game itself was poor. Not many chances were created by either side. Again, there were a couple of moments where we'd lose it at the back needlessly. Same with Ipswich, that was sort of creating openings for both sides, but no one capitalised on it. But then Ledbetter had the ball in the middle. There was a bit of a sort of scuffle in the middle, a collision. At first, it didn't look like it was a massive amount. It looked like it was a free kick to us, don't get me wrong, but there was quite a few bodies in the middle, a couple of collisions, and then the referee pulls out a red card for Dozzell for Ipswich. And apparently he did stamp on Grant Ledbetter's ankle whilst on the floor, which I didn't see at first look, but he's been given a red card. So for the final sort of 15, 20 odd minutes, we're playing against 10 men. I'm thinking, right, this is what we need now to get something from this game, or at least to get 3 points, should I say, because it was, of course, 1-1 at that point. So even then, against 10 men, we didn't look particularly threatening. Ipswich weren't creating a massive amount either. I keep basically saying the same sort of thing because it was that bad of a game. It was shocking, in all honesty. But we did start to get a few crosses into the box, and one of them, the Ipswich defender, he tries to clear it away. He tries to volley it away, and it's hit his centre-back partner's hand as he's tried to clear it away. And the ref spots it brilliantly, because at first it looked like he leathered it at his face, because the defender was sort of holding his face afterwards, of clearly trying to cover up the handball. But then when you do look at the replay, it was 100% a handball. Penalty's given. Grant Ledbetter steps up to take it, buries it in the bottom right-hand corner, and we managed to hold on just about through the skin of our teeth, because again, there was a few dodgy moments, even against 10 men for the final 5 minutes, where Ipswich were dominating, and they really were dominating. All they were doing was literally just sprinting straight down the middle of us, time and time again, straight past Ledbetter, straight past Power, and luckily the end product wasn't there for Ipswich tonight. But all in all, you're going to take it. Probably before the game, I would have actually taken a draw, but then after the sort of opening half an hour and how decent I thought we were, I would have been fuming had we lost this game. But 2-1, it's 3 points, and a vital 3 points at that, and it's a statement as well to the rest of the league, I guess, because it looked like we were kind of falling off the horse a little bit after the defeat against Portsmouth, the draw against Rochdale where we were terrible. We scraped it really. I feel like we were lucky against Gillingham. So it is a statement, and it should give the lads loads of confidence, hopefully, anyway. So it's a massive, massive 3 points. It really is huge. And you need to be winning the games like that if you're serious about going up, or at least going up in the top two as well. So a massive, massive 3 points. In terms of a man of the match, I'm kind of struggling because it really was that bad of a game. I can't really think, to be honest with you. I really can't think. Graham came on late on, didn't really get a touch on. Sanderson came on to defend for the last 5 minutes. But no, for man of the match, I genuinely can't give you one. Maybe Ledbetter for scoring the penalty, and I do love Ledbetter, so I'll give it to him. I mean, I could give it to Wyke, actually, to be fair, because the goal it was really sort of non-Charlie Wyke-like, if that makes sense, because it was a really, really good touch, shrugs off his defender and buries it, whereas with Charlie Wyke, the kind of goals you normally associate with him, it's usually tap-ins, handed on a plate, or a header from really close range, basically sitters, essentially. Even though he's more than capable of missing them as well. But this just wasn't the kind of goal I usually personally associate with Charlie Wyke. So between him and Ledbetter, I'll let him share it. But yeah, so it's not really that much of an in-depth review this time, because it really was just a cagey affair, and luckily we get on the end of it. So that's a really, really good result. I think we're now 5th in the league, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong there. My phone is on the other side of the room, and I can't be arsed getting it. So yeah, it's a really, really good result. Absolutely buzzing with it. So you guys let me know who was your man of the match, if you can manage to think of one, and what did you think of the game down below as well in the comments as well. So I just said as well a load of times. So if you have enjoyed this, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively appreciated, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care and stay jamming.